Good morning, it's the 31st of March 2022. My name's Roger and this is a Fairlight Computer Musical Instrument Series 3, a Fairlight CMI Series 3. Here's the interface. We have a VDU unit and we have an alphanumeric where you can use the up and down buttons to move around to these fields, and you can use a stylus which with a kind of mouse button here under your thumb and on an XY tablet, so you can select a sound here from the directory. For example, let's have a listen to cowbell here, and then you can just query the sound, and the structure is a voice file and it can have up to 64 sub-voices. So within that you can then hit the ear button and it will play the sound directly off hard disk, so you can audition the sound before you actually choose to load it into the memory. Now the memory is only 14 megabytes. Let's have a listen to, listen to that bass drum, and here's the bass sound. These all happen to be sounds from the band the Pet Shop Boys, who used the Fairlight a lot, and even at the recent New Year's celebration on the BBC they were performing with Ollie Alexander from Years and Years, and they were using Fairlight. So this is their library, and you can just query a sound using the question mark here, and then you hit the number 10, which is the little ear, and it will play you the sound directly off the hard drive. There we go. So back in 1975, Kim Rari and Peter Vogel, who were Australian school friends, came up with this concept, this idea of digital sampling. The idea was to take a sound from the external world using a microphone and then digitize it in a computer. So they invented this page in 1975. This is called the sample page. Now here we can put in 10 seconds of memory, and I've got a little instrument here which I think comes from Thailand. It's a kind of a Guica thing. So I put in 10 seconds, I hit record, and I've got a microphone here. AMS online. And then that's sampled. Then we hit the F10 button to hear it back. There we go. AMS online. And you can see the sample rate here is 44.1, and this is 16-bit. This particular machine is a Series 3, which came out in 1985. And what's interesting about this machine in 1985, it was at the time when Philips had formalized or standardized the CD market with a 44.1 sampling rate and 16-bit. But here's a little surprise about the Fairlight. It can go much higher than 44.1. It can go up to 50,000 cycles per second, which is quite cool. So the sample we've just put in there, let's just hear it as it is. Let me just turn this up a little bit and we'll take it to the Wave Edit page. Right, so anybody who's ever used a DAW, like Logic or Pro Tools or Ableton or Cubase, this will look very familiar. Now, but the difference being, this was actually invented back in the late 1970s. Now, using this little pen here, I can interact with the display to locate bits of the sample that I might want to edit. I can actually scrub over this using the pen. I can scrub over the audio if I wanted to, and now I can perform some edits. So the simplest edit, let's have a look at here where I actually spoke the words AMS online and I did a cough. So let's just have a listen to that little bit.
AMS online.
Okay, so I've done a little cough in there. I can easily remove that. And this is all software that was invented in '85. Then of course I can just do simple things like I can reverse the whole waveform like that. It's fun. I can reverse it back. Sounds like Russian to me. Then we can isolate different little bits, and we can perform edits by moving this. We can make the voice start here, or I can make it start here. Just grab the voice start. We'll go up to the bit where I'm saying AMS.
AMS. AMS.
AMS.
Like that. Let's just save that. Voice right. So that's the basic functions of the Wave Edit page. It's a lot deeper than I'm letting on. Then we go to the effects page. Now this is not a real-time effects page in terms of like reverbs or delays. It's where you can start adding ADSR, attack, sustain, release. You can change the filtering, you can change the level. So for example, I could make this voice key velocity sensitive, and I can define the range by which the quietest note will be minus 40 dB and the loudest will be 4 dB. I then can assign any MIDI controller, a bit like an old Roland modular synth. This is kind of like patching different things to different things. So any MIDI control can be assigned to any other parameter. For example, if you look at the vibrato, it's the LFO, if you like. Here we have the frequency of it. The depth we can patch onto a MIDI controller, like on a keyboard or something like that. Then we've got vibrato delay. That's the amount of time it takes before it starts doing it, and the attack tremolo as well. Glissando portamento. We've got all that. So that works on just the whole voice. Now, as I said earlier, the voice can contain up to, I think it's actually 128 sub-voices. So down here we can have up to 128 sub-voices. And then you can map them like this. Simple as that. There's actually a function whereby you can actually play the music keyboard, and via MIDI it will patch different sounds to different notes if you want. So that's the overall picture of the voice. Then each sub-voice, so each sample can have its own ADSR with 2 attack rates, hold the same, and a loop in decay, which is very interesting, and 2 different release times, which you could patch to, say, a pedal, like a sustain pedal. It's all completely modular. So from there, let's go back up to the directory page. Now here you can have, these are system files, and this is one I've loaded earlier, a bit like what the BBC used to say on Blue Peter, something I did earlier. Now this will show you that I've loaded up a combination of different instruments.